Okay, so the presentation is fine. And I'll switch off my camera and microphone until after the presentation, after the first video, right? I think we still have a few minutes, right? You can leave people in and play the video twice if you like. But I mean, here it's 11:47, 57 or something. So we have 3 minutes or something. Sorry. I think we can start now, right? team, would you like to start playing the first video, please? Sorry, dear participants, we'll sort this out in a second, and then we'll start. Okay, well, I think we can play the video between the two first parts. And I'll just start right away, unless I got a different notification, but I didn't. Okay. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's session about studying in the Nordic countries with a focus on Finland and Sweden. But first of all, we would like to introduce our brand new tool to you, your Unifinder, a feature of the assisted mobile app that wonderfully helps you to find and identify study options in Europe. And it seems, thank you very much, that the video is available now. So I'll close my video for a second and let you enjoy the film. So now I'm back. And I already announced the title and a little bit of the content of today's session, but I didn't introduce myself yet. My name is Gesa Heim, and I hold an MSc in Higher Education and Science Management. I am specialized in the German and the European higher education sector since over 15 years. I'm a senior expert in the YUF team based in Berlin, Germany, and I'm very, very happy to talk to you today. So today's session will have three parts. The first part, I will show you how to find study options for free, tuition fee free in all of Europe. And sorry, I'll immediately switch. Yes, I'll show you the options to study in the Nordic states. To find them out via the help of our assisted mobile app. And then in the second part, I'll show you more features around it, how you can use the app, how you can navigate, and how we can actually help you to find accommodation options, visa issues, and so on and so forth. So, first of all, we have a wide range of study options in Europe, also outside the Scandinavian countries. We didn't want to miss informing you about that. In Germany, Finland, Switzerland, Italy, France, Malta, and more, like other European countries, some of these countries do not distinguish between local and international students when it comes to tuition fees. And countries like Germany, Switzerland, Austria, but also Italy, offer scholarships to students based on their financial background as well as on their educational acumen. And there are hundreds of different types of scholarships available with most institutions, also with the Scandinavian ones. And what qualifies us to consult you? Because we would like to assist you with our assisted mobile app. We are a professional recruitment and higher education consulting team with years of experience in recruitment for the European and worldwide higher education sector. We have experience not just in recruitments, but also visa processing, accommodation assistance, and scholarships. We are committed to providing you assistance from start to end in every aspect of your university admission: application submission, coordination of the process with the university, visa support, accommodation, projects, and many more features. We are regional experts on the different university systems in Europe as well. So today we thought we are going to introduce the option to you to study in the Nordic states. Higher education in the Nordic states is something very prestigious, something taken very, very serious in these countries, and something with a very high reputation. Maybe not necessarily in the worldwide rankings, because Nordic universities might not perform top end like Oxford, Cambridge, and MIT, but the general level of higher of education at all and of higher education is very high. And it is very equally distributed, let's say. So all talents are fostered, everyone gets their opportunity, and in the same time the quality is high. This is something that only the Scandinavian model actually assures. The universities encourage you to think critically, independently, and creatively. The countries have a penchant for unique and specialized programs and are researchers' paradises. If you want to become a researcher later, it's also a good option. These higher education institutions in the countries have adapted to the Bologna process since ages, and higher education in Nordic states is divided into three levels, like the standard bachelor level, master's level, and the PhD doctoral level. Pathway foundation programs are leading into bachelor and master's programs because they are often in the bachelor's level taught in the local language, so you might need some language knowledge. So actually what we focus here on is studying master's or advanced studies in the Nordic countries. Specialities about the higher education system in these countries are internship during the courses. A large part of the learning process takes place outside the classroom as far as possible, and students graduate well prepared for the challenges and demands of the working life. You can get a spouse visa if you come to study in Scandinavia, and there is no age limit for master's and PhD programs. So let's move to beautiful Sweden. About Sweden, I think you've all heard about Sweden, but I'm still give you some few facts. The capital of Sweden is Stockholm, and the currency, because Sweden, just as Denmark, didn't join the euro, they joined the EU, but they didn't join the euro, is the Swedish krona. And the Swedish government invests a higher proportion of its gross domestic product in research and development than most other countries. Sweden is the country with the highest number of patents per capita in Europe, so you can see what this research system actually boosts. Sweden is home to the Nobel Prize. Also very important. Why should you opt for Sweden? It's because the higher education system is known for being one of the best in the world, and Sweden tops the European Innovation Scoreboard. Language is not a barrier, as programs, as I said, especially on the master's level, are taught in English. There's a very high employment rate and high average wages per hour. In the same time, we have to admit that comparing with Southern European countries, the living costs are also a lot higher. Diversity and a wide range of programs are on offer. Student nations, organizations specifically responsible for organizing students' events, can be found in all the university cities of Sweden. And the Swedish passport, if you have a longer perspective on staying there, is the second most powerful in the world. Now, don't ask me which is the first most powerful. I'll check that out next time I present this slide. Sweden is one of the most innovative nations, and it has been called the most digitally connected economy. So this is all very important, also to show that this country and its higher education system has a very high potential for the future. Cost of education and living is like 750 to 800 euros per month. I guess that's very sharply calculated, so you should possibly calculate a little bit more. And there are 14 public universities and 17 public university colleges in Sweden. At each university and university college, you have a career center. And the tuition fees range from 6,500 to 8,000 euros per semester, depending a bit on the university and on the study program. So you can say that this is quite a fair deal and not very expensive. Sorry, I'm a coffee addict. That's why I keep drinking coffee while I present. Scholarships. It's important because we mentioned the tuition fees, so you might want to look out for scholarships. An important piece of information, scholarships are very difficult to get for BA students and are a lot easier to get for MA students, yeah? Because as MA student, you already have an academic performance to show. You already can prove that you had success, academic success, which alone a school leaving high school degree certificate wouldn't possibly be enough. Scholarships are provided by the Swedish Institute, dedicated to international students applying to master's degree programs. Scholarship offered through the WISBY program, the partnership between EU Eastern countries, and among, let's say, among Eastern countries, because I think for Russia the partnership is suspended. Awards are offered to students who apply to programs focusing on subject areas related to sustainability, innovation, and corporate social responsibility. And scholarships are offered by the individual universities. Each institution is free to decide the amount, duration, and admission criteria for the scholarships. So if you decide for one of these, for example, Lund University, Stockholm's University, or the others that I'm going to show you, you should definitely do a research on the website whether this very university that you would like to opt for does have an individual scholarship scheme. And we, by the way, can also help you with finding individual scholarship, but this will be the second part of my presentation. There are also country-specific scholarships offered to international students from certain countries, mostly developing countries. Funds come from universities, independent foundations, and other types of organizations. Then there is, of course, the study portal scholarship, the International Distinction Awards. This is something you could simply find out with a web research on the study portal's website. And I've talked about Sweden in general. Now, please, I mean, this is a little bit what I said, right? Swedish universities are excellently equipped, especially the technological universities. You see the Karolinska Institute, which is a technical university, is ranked number 36 on worldwide. Lund University, Uppsala, and Stockholm's University, as well as the University of Gothenburg, also got very, very good spots in the rankings. And the other universities that are listed there, Chalmers University of Technology, KTH Royal Institute of Technology, Örebro University, and the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences are also ranked reasonably, but this is not all. You know, you have Linköping, Jönköping, and so on. Very, very good local and provincial universities that give you excellent and practical training and are very, very good study destination if you opt for the country. Yeah, there they are. Jönköping University, Linköping University, Halmstad, Skövde, Umeå, if you want to go very, very, very far up north, and the Linnaeus University. We cooperate with all of these universities. All of them have excellent facilities for international students. It might be a bit different the further north you go up, but we'll get this topic in Finland as well. So these are also universities that you could definitely check out via our assisted mobile app to find whether they have suitable study programs for you. As to your career, There's a strong collaboration between academic institutions and industry. Skilled professionals in the field of computer science, IT, web development, psychology, preschool education are in very high demand, not to mention, of course, by the way, everywhere in Europe, the medical sector. And you have the presence of world renowned Swedish companies like the famous IKEA, who doesn't know IKEA, Spotify, Volvo, Ericsson, AstraZeneca, Tetra Pak, H&M, and other Swedish companies. So this is also an economically very, very successful country where you could have very, very strong career options. Concerning the permanent residence, this might also be of interest to you. There's a post-study visa option for 12 months, and you have had a residence permit for work for 4 years. You must also work in Sweden for the last 44 months during your permit period to be able to receive a permanent residence period. So if you had a residence permit, you worked 44 months, you can have a permanent residence. Sorry, the phrase is a bit mixed up. If you have lived in Sweden and had a residence permit for doctoral studies for a total of 4 years over the past 7 years, you may be able to get a permanent residence permit as well. So these are very, very positive prospects. It's just that you have to accept that it gets dark very, very early in winter or the sun doesn't come out. But then again, you have the whole winter, the whole summer with the sun all the time. So this compensates a little bit for very, very dark winters. So let's move to Finland. This is a picture of beautiful Helsinki, the capital of Finland. Finland is the northern European nation bordering Sweden, Norway, and Russia. Helsinki is the capital of Finland, and it is home to the most beautiful northern lights, the famous northern lights if you go all the way up north in Finland. Education is a strong part of Finnish culture from preschool years into adulthood. And as I told you, the whole society is included into that. So it's a very egalitarian system where you wouldn't find that people go like, oh, I want to be the best in class and so on, but everyone is taken and everyone's ideas are also taken. So this is very, very interesting if you come from a completely different learning and societal system. We can all learn a lot from the Finns, I think. Finland's top-ranked higher education institution offers more than 400 English-taught bachelor's and master's degree programs in 13 universities and 22 universities of applied sciences. They're called UAS, right? University of Applied Sciences. The Finnish higher education institutions have over 20,000 international students studying in several locations around Finland. And Finland is very high on the safety index. It's 78.6, 12th worldwide. And it is the happiest country in the world, according to the World Happiness Report, or let's say its inhabitants count themselves among the most happy in the world, which is also something we can learn from the Finns, how to be happy in darkness with a lot of nature and so on. So some reasons for studying in Finland. Being on a student visa, students are allowed to work up to 25 hours a week in Finland. According to the Statistics Finland, 55% of university students reported having an employment contract while studying. And 1 year post-study visa will be granted to the student if they wish to stay back in Finland. As per studies conducted, almost 50% of the international students stay back in Finland after their graduation. Work-based residence permit can be applied for once the student obtains a full-time employment. The student will be eligible for permanent residency after working for 4 consecutive years. So this is similar to Sweden. The cost of education and living. There are 2 different aspects to consider. First of all, the tuition fees and related scholarship options. In addition to that, you have everyday living costs. Finnish higher education institutions offer a range of scholarship options for those non-EU EEA students, which are based on different universities. The annual tuition fee depends on the university and the program, and it's varying between 4,000 and 80,000 euros, while for 18,000 euros, I think we're talking about medicine and engineering, and other study programs can really be had for a lot less money. Monthly living expenses for students, including food, accommodation, travel insurance, and so on, used to be around 700 and 900. And I think we will do an upgrade or an update on our information soon because prices are rising in Europe as everywhere. And I think to have €1,000 would be a wise idea um, to manage in Finland. In Finland, you have the euro. It's not like Denmark and Sweden that they didn't join. In Finland, you can pay everything with euro. So scholarships are available from the Finnish government and EU scholarships for international students. For example, for Erasmus Mundus scholarship programs in Finland, as Finnish universities participate in a number of study programs which are funded by so-called Erasmus Mundus scholarships. But there, the scholarship comes with the admission, and it's quite a high competition to get admission to these programs. But if you get admission to one of these programs, it will be, the mostly the best thing that can happen to you. And also individual university scholarships like Aalto University Scholarship. Aalto University offers a number of full scholarships for non-EU EEA, so international citizens in these programs. And the scholarships will be allocated in order of merit. The same scheme is true for the University of Helsinki, and it's intended for excellent students from outside the EU for master programs. And if you download our app and let us help you and consult you a little bit, we will also find more scholarship options for you. So just in order to give you an orientation and to tell you a little bit about or give you an indication which Finnish universities you could actually check out, there's the University of Helsinki, the number one in Finland. So these universities are ranked according to the order in Finland. It's 107 in the QS ranking. But as I said, don't put too much weight on the worldwide rankings. Finland is an excellent higher education system. Aalto University is second. It's also located in Helsinki. Then come the University of Turku. Turku used to be the capital of Finland. So this is actually the old traditional town, a lot smaller, a lot more historical. Then Tampere, eastern Finland, Oulu, which is very, very high up north, of Jyväskylä, of Lapland, and the Abo Academy University. So you can also maybe check a little bit on the map because you have also Tromsø and spots like that that are very, very far north. So maybe you stay in the middle or in the south of Finland. That would be my personal indication. Finland is home, talking about career prospects, Finland is home to two of the world largest companies, just Cone 1IJ, an international engineering service company across 60 countries worldwide. It was founded in 1910 and has its headquarters located in Espoo, the industrial area of Helsinki. And the company has been ranked as 32nd most sustainable company in 2020. And there's the Nokia Corporation, a Finnish multinational telecommunications, information technology, and consumer electronics company founded already in 1865, yes, and also with its headquarters located in Espoo. But look, Finland doesn't have many big name companies, but it has a lot of startup, a lot of design, industrial design, a very vivid, very young economy. And for people who would really like to find their spot and to try out their ideas, I think it's the ideal place to go. Right? So now I'll tell you how you can come to these universities via our mobile app. Let me just have one more sip of coffee. And I think that tech team put it in the chat already. Maybe tech team, you can put the information in the chat about how to download the assisted mobile app. The world number one, or what we hope to be the world's number one mobile app for international education in Europe. The app connects students looking to study overseas for their higher education. They can use the app for searching and applying to top universities, getting virtual counseling, participate in discussion forums, get information and support for visa processing, projects, and accommodation, and so forth. Educational experts can get access to an active student community and guide them for their higher educational needs. They can even conduct online counseling and events to promote their services or participate in forum discussions and more. Educators can register their universities here and promote their study programs to a diversified student community. They can post news and events on upcoming programs or new accreditations received to attract more students to their institutes and more with the assisted mobile app. But it's important to mention, it's not written on the slide, that we do not only promote universities that actively registered in our system, but we draw data from a lot more universities so that you really find the best option for your study abroad, and not only those who actively registered, right? So the process flow is quite simple. You download the assisted mobile app, and I would again ask the tech team, please put the information in the chat for the download. It's available for iOS and Android formats and can be downloaded from the App Store and the Google Play Store. Then you create your profile, of course, honest, with all your information that will supplement your, I mean, it's a profile. It's not like a Instagram profile or something. It's really an academic profile. Yeah. Not in order for someone to find you and to say, look, please come to my university. It's actively delivering us the information that we need to find a match for you to which university and study program of your need you will suit best, right? Once you put this data in, you will be able to search freely all the programs. It will not be filtered, but you can use multiple filters from your side, and you can, let's say, help us to predict whether you're going to get admission to this university, whether you have got good chances to get there, and whether this is a good, suitable match for your interests. You can join more virtual events, read up on the news articles, search for good housing options, or book an appointment for counseling. And of course, share the app with your friends. Or share the news with your friends that you used the app and found a great possibility to search for study options, because you get details on study programs, intake periods, scholarship options, and more things. You can filter your search based on countries, study programs, tuition fees, and more. For example, also language learning or language capabilities. So if you, for example, don't have an IELTS test, you can also filter the options where you do not need an IELTS test. And if you're confused between two or more schools, simply use the compare feature to evaluate them on different parameters to choose the best. And the universities will contain everything from the date of inception of the university to the program list, campuses, ranking, and more in a very structured layout. This is very important for you, ladies and gentlemen, because if you ever try to compare 2 or 3 or 4 websites from 2 or 3 universities, or even national search engines like Study in Germany or Study in Finland, you will be quite lost. So what we allow you, that no other platform, I'd say, allows you, is directly compare the data and the facts about the Finnish, the Swedish, and the German universities. You can compare the tuition fees, the intake rates, the GPAs, and so on. So this is something really, really very important in order to really find the best and maybe also the most price-worthy option for you. I said you can attend events, you can use our housing options, and something very interesting, you will be connected to Europe's #1 internship portal Praxis, with an exposure to an international work environment and an opportunity to build a global career profile and much more, because this Europe internship portal Praxis will connect you to employees and give you internship opportunities directly, but this is during your study, right? This is when, if you use the assisted mobile app to enter your studies to study in Europe, in Sweden, Finland, Italy, or wherever, you will automatically have access to the platform and be able during your studies find internship and projects. And as we know that there are some people who are not so much into only online consulting, we do have agents almost everywhere in the world that can consult you and that can help you and find the right study program for you. Concerning scholarships, I talked a little bit about scholarships already, but scholarships in the form of full or partial tuition fee waivers are the most common international scholarships offered by universities and are usually in the academic category. Tuition fee scholarships are the next best thing to fully funded scholarships in the sense that a good portion of your study cost is then already covered. As I mentioned, for example, in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, you find more tuition fee waivers. In Finland and Sweden, but also in Norway and Iceland, you also find tuition fee waiver scholarships and scholarships for the living expenses, but it's more difficult to get, it's more competitive. With the assisted mobile app, you can browse through the wide range of scholarship options available for different countries and locate the option that best suits your profile. Additionally, you can choose to talk to our assisted experts who are fully equipped to guide you through the procedures. So now a few words on because I'm talking already since a very long time. Sorry for that. I'll finish that soon. I only have, I think, 3 slides, maybe 2. With the assisted mobile app, we eliminate the need for you to browse for hours and instead we bring unlimited housing options at your fingertips. Get details of the apartments with price, dimension, contact information, and pictures. Post, whether you're an accommodation provider, a university, or a student, you can easily post your housing information on the app instantly and get responses easily. Share and upload your housing information with some good images to showcase the apartment layout. Get responses in the app from students all over the globe. This is for accommodation providers. And our experts, whether it is for a short-term program, an internship, or an extensive 2 to 3 year stay, our experts can guide you through every step on the way to locate your perfect housing with ease. Then we offer also visa support, whether for higher education or internship. The assisted mobile app offers services to support all your visa-related requirements from A to Z. Get all the information from visa procedures to documents, interviews, and more. And talk to our experts virtually and get step-by-step assistance. Which type of visa do I need when I get this university admission? Where do I have to apply and how do I crack the visa interviews? What kind of questions are these guys going to ask me? What are the documents needed? Which kind of insurance do I need if I want to go to Finland? Which is accepted, and so on. So we can consult you to the requirements of each and every country. Just one thing I always say in this part, it is true that we can only help you with visas provided if you already have an invitation letter from an internship provider or an admission from a university or University of Applied Sciences. So there needs to be a basis, an invitation to Europe, to a certain destination. We can't do magic, we can't provide the invitation, but we can help you with every further step then. Okay. And I think now we are going to to approach the end of at least my talk. This is how to find it: assisteduapp.com, yourunifinder.com, and also on the Google Play Store, in the what's it called, in the App Store for the iPhone. Exactly. So yeah, this is what I have to offer to you. I hope you all find your way to European higher education. You find ways to finance it, you find ways to find the right program for you, and so on. And if in the future we can assist you with that with the assisted mobile app, we'll be so glad. And we'll have now a few minutes to answer all of your questions, if you like. So I can answer, you can ask questions about everything and anything. But if it's very, very specific, like, okay, I study biochemistry with a GPA of XYZ, and I would like to go to Linköping University, what is the GPA there? I won't be able to answer that without further research. And we will forward your question to our help desk, to our backend team. And it's the best to do that via the registration to the mobile app, of course. But if it's general question about admission, language requirements, differences in countries, everything you might have, you are welcome to ask me now. And yeah, I cordially invite you because I also always learn from your questions. So thank you very much in advance for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and to present my humble information about studying in the Nordic states to you. And now the floor is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, do you not have any questions? Because I mean, I don't want to take you from the weekend that is lying ahead, anything sundown, other work, more homework, anything you might still have to do today. But I really recommend you to use this opportunity to ask me any questions. Um, and find out more about higher education in Europe. Maybe questions that you always had. Otherwise, we'll just stay online for another, I guess, 5 minutes in order to give you a little bit of time to think about your questions. So I'm right here. I just switch off my microphone. So if you feel like you have any question, just type it into the chat and I'll try to answer it. Okay, hi Sydney. Thank you very much for your question. Um, yes, it's not a certain IELTS and not all over the place, but I would think that if you browse in our study requirements, that you would find that in Sweden and Finland, you always have to have an IELTS or a TOEFL language achievement. If you go to Germany and Switzerland, it's not Switzerland, but Austria, it's not the case. But the Scandinavian countries do have higher language requirements. Usually they do, yeah. Sorry. Um, Excuse me. The second question, maybe tech team, we can go back to that. What is the scholarship period for international students for Sweden and for Finland? The scholarship period, you mean the application period? So the Nordic countries study their semester very early. They study already in August. Finland a bit later in September, but Sweden in August. So it is wise, like if you prepare now your research to apply and look for options to apply in February, March. If you mean the application procedure, let's say. If you mean the scholarship periods in terms of how long can you get the scholarship, once you get a scholarship, it is usually for the whole time of your studies. So if you apply for a scholarship for a 2 years master's program, you will have a scholarship for the 2 years. If you need an extension, I can still believe that there's also an application for an extension possible. So in order to start studying in August, you should be aware that your university admission should possibly be submitted by February, March, and scholarship applications will be dealt with in the same time. Some of them might be actually, if you apply to the individual universities, it might be in the same time as the admission deadlines. Okay, is there a February intake? Was the next question from Nora. Yes, there is, but mostly also only in certain programs. And I wouldn't certainly really recommend you to start in January, February. Not only, I mean, I don't always want to stress the weather in Scandinavia, but it will be really hard to arrive in the complete darkness. And the study year is really designed to really start in August, in September. So intakes for the, let's say, spring term are not the rule, and they are, let's say, not really recommendable, because what normally happens is that you missed one semester and you can enter the spring intake, let's say, if you studied the same master program maybe in another country before and so on. So I think you're asking because you want to know whether if you apply now, you can go for the Jan-Feb intake, right? But I wouldn't do that. I would continue whatever you're doing now, finish it reasonably and without hurry, always go for the regular annual intake. What is the minimum percentage of marks required in the previous study? The Scandinavian countries are not known to have very, very high GPAs. So I think they rather check the match, let's say, of your bachelor degree and then openly take in. I wouldn't know of any restriction of admission as soon as you have a BA in a relevant field, plus the English knowledge. Do these countries support for spouse visa as well? And what is the requirement to apply for spouse visa too? I guess the requirement, yes, they do. And the requirement is something that I think I would have to clarify with our visa service that we also offer. So if you would like to put this question via the app to our visa team, because I don't really want to tell you something wrong. I wouldn't know exactly. I'm sorry. Okay, we have a next question from Lara. 3 years bachelor's will accept for master's degree program in Germany, Sweden, and Finland. Yes. Sorry, I don't know whether you all can see it in the chat. Um, normally 3 years, as all of these countries that you mentioned, Germany, Sweden, and Finland, have adapted the Bologna process. So they have a 3-2-3 structure, 3 years of bachelor, 2 years of master, and 3 years of PhD education. So yes, a 3-year bachelor will be accepted for admission to a master degree program in Germany, Sweden, and Finland. But especially and particularly in Germany, you have to be sure that the bachelor program that you did matches the master program. Because unlike, for example, the UK, where you can maybe study history in your bachelor and then go for an MBA, this is not the case in Germany, Finland, and Sweden. It's a consecutive system. So a bachelor in biology qualifies you, for example, to study a master's in biology and biodiversity and biochemistry and so forth, maybe with a few courses that you have to repeat. But for example, a bachelor in biology wouldn't qualify you to study a master's in behavioral psychology, which is quite natural, but I'm just adding it because there are sometimes misunderstandings over that. So 3 years is fine, but it depends on the bachelor itself. It has to match the requirements of the masters. What could be the job prospects for outgoing students in the Nordic countries? So, let me start with international students working in these countries. It depends a bit if you're a bachelor or a master student. If you're a master student, you definitely have enough space and time to get a job, and most of the Scandinavian domestic students do it. It depends a bit on your skills, whether you're going to make really good money or if you're just going to make money. Because, I mean, it's always recommended in the first semester or even before you come to learn a bit of the local language in order to be able to get a job, also in services and so on. If you're in the capitals, like in Helsinki and in Stockholm, I think it's also possible to get a job also only with English and a few words of Swedish or Finnish. But if you're planning ahead and thinking about also staying in these countries, it's a lot better to learn a bit of the local language. After graduation, it also depends, I guess, on the specialization. But I mean, here in almost all the fields of work now, there's a severe lack of labor force. I mean, also here in Germany, I mean, if it's technicians, medical staff, IT specialists, psychologists, everything is wanted. And at almost every shop, by the way, talking about student jobs, you find signs, okay, we're looking for someone to help us sell, I don't know, bread or whatsoever. So this is now, of course, if you come 1 year later, this might be a bit different, but I think the job prospects are, if you want to come and work, you will work. Okay, and I see one more question by Lara. Gap of 20 years will be considered for a master's in medicine. Oh, I think medicine, dear Lara, is very complicated. What is accepted as medical training from which country to go where is very, very special. So it absolutely depends on what you did, what kind of approval you had, what kind of tests you made, and what you worked, whether you qualify for medical master programs in Sweden and Finland, because I mean, in Germany, as well as in the Nordic countries, they don't really have the system of bachelor's and master's in medical studies. So this is a very, very detailed questions, and it depends a lot on your individual background. I don't know where you're from, so maybe it's really wise to log into the app, or also use our website if for technical reasons you can't use the app, to let your certificate, to have your certificates checked and to see for what you're eligible. Okay. Has the permanent resident possibility in Nordic countries? How many work visas should a student have for applying for a PR? 4 years of work after the studies. After you finish 4 years of work after your studies, your master studies, the master studies will not be counted. You can apply for a permanent residence. If you come to one of the Nordic countries as a PhD student, it will be less, because as a PhD student, you already get a working contract. And it's how it counts not only as study, but as study and work. So the permanent residence after a period of a PhD is shorter. But I think we're talking about master here, right? So 4 years. The study period will be included in if you do PhD. If you do your master's, the study period is not included. Because master students are not employed at Nordic universities. PhD students are employed with the university. You can't do a PhD at a Nordic university without being employed by the university. If you apply through assisted, what is the procedure and the charges? The charges vary from, I mean, the download of the assisted mobile app and the identification of universities is completely free of charge. We help you find a suitable university also free of charge, and then you decide if you opt in or opt out of the system. And then if you would like to apply via the assisted mobile app, you're going to be connected. It's not a completely artificial intelligence based system. You'll be connected with one of our expert colleagues on the back end, and depending on the university admission, you will work together with this colleague in order to apply. And the fees that are charged are according to which country you come from, which country you're going to, and how many universities you apply to. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad that some of you actually decided to ask these questions, because otherwise, if I only talk to you, it's also a bit boring for me. So I learned again that what did I learn? What do I have to check? Anyways, there was something that I wanted to check, because I wasn't really able to answer this. Yeah, I think it was the IELTS level in Sweden and Finland. Anyways, so I think you're going to be well off with the app, with my colleagues working on the back end and helping you, using, of course, artificial intelligence wherever it's possible, but using our own intelligence whenever it's necessary. So thank you very, very much for joining me. And tech team, if you could be so kind and start the final video, that would be really nice. All the best for all of you. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend.